John, Mr. Smooth Morra, one of Canada's finest, and a name that's earned respect on the world stage. Effortless stroke, calm under pressure, always in the mix with the game's top pros. Year after year, match after match, he proves he belongs among the elite.
Welcome back, everybody. Touching on our title sponsor real briefly, it's J Flowers Cues. Go to jflowerscues.com. They have the best jump cues, the best break cues, the best playing cues, and the best cases in the industry. Leading the charge right now with the lowest deflection on the market, it's jflowerscues.com. What's up, everybody? Freezer here from the Boom and Freezer Show. I got a special guest. That's my man, Bobby Boom. And this is my man, Johnny Morra. It's been a long time coming. I'm pumped to have this dude here. What's up, Johnny?
What's up?
How are you, brother?
Good to be on the show. I'm good. I had a great time at the PLP. Classic Billiards was my first time there. And Dave and Lee have been sponsoring me for a few months now. And they're just great for the game, great for the sport. They're great to so many players. So it's good to be here.
Absolutely. Johnny, thanks a lot for being on the show. We really appreciate it, man. I've been following your career for a long time, following you with Lucas on the road. Let's talk about it. Johnny Morra, a.k.a. Mr. Smooth. How do we get Mr. Smooth out of Mr. Johnny Morra?
Mr. Smooth was developed about 15 years ago from my friend Billy Silvera out in Reno. His father gave me that nickname. I was at their house playing some pool, and his father walked in, and he's like, "Who's this kid, Billy? Look at the way he walks around the table, like with his chest out and his head up, and his smooth stroke." He's like, "That kid's smooth. That's Mr. Smooth." And Billy just kept calling me that. Like he got such a kick out of that. And then Ken Schumann would call me that at tournaments on the TV table, and I didn't like it in the beginning.
Fit you well.
It just grew on me, and everybody started calling me that. And yeah.
How long ago was that?
What
year was that? How old were you?
I was about 18. I'm 36 now, so it's been about 18 years. Yeah.
And shout out to a friend of mine, Billy.
Yeah, we love Billy.
I know him really well. He's a wild dude. He and I together back in the day when we were putting them back, we were a little dangerous. We'll just put it that way.
Billy has a massive heart, and he's just a good person.
Oh, he is.
But he's wild and he's crazy.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that.
He's wild. He's crazy. But he has a massive heart.
Well, it's safe to say the name stuck, right? 20 years later, Mr. Smooth.
Yeah, I think it fits not just my game, but my personality. Back then, I was playing right-handed, and I definitely had a smoother stroke, and that was part of the reason why I got the nickname.
That's debatable.
But I think it's the way I handle myself, maybe the way I dress, and just
it's the way you look, John.
I got some swagger.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Swag, dog.
Absolutely. We're going to get into the right and left in a little while. First of all, let's talk a little bit about your career. You've been playing pool a long time. When did you actually start pro? When you were 18?
I started playing pro when I was about 16.
Okay.
I started beating professionals in tournaments when I was 14 back home in Canada. And then when I was 15, I think, is when I started beating pros in the U.S., like Thorsten, Rodney, and Ralph. Those guys were the best in the world at the time, and I was beating them in 9-ball tournaments, Super Billiards Expo and different ones like that. That was like my first intro, onto the pro game. And the next year I started traveling quite a bit.
Well, when did you start playing? How old were you when you started playing?
The first time I ever picked up a cue, I was about 4 or 5 years old back in Canada, and it was a snooker cue on a snooker table. And I used to play with my sister a little bit. My mom and dad were both professional snooker players and then pool players.
Did they play snooker? Did they play billiards or 9-ball, or what did they play?
My father lived in the UK and played professional snooker. He actually played Crucible Theater. He beat Jimmy White in 1985. He was a great snooker player.
Yeah, what's your dad's name?
Mario Morra.
I love him. I know him pretty well.
And he was great. He runs 147s. He was right on the cusp. He was like top 50 in the world, and he made it to the Crucible where they host the World Championship. You need to be a top 32 player in the world, and he reached that level. And my mom was a professional snooker player. She played on the WPBA after that, and all the older ladies know her pretty well. Allison was a good friend of ours. She stayed with us when I was pretty young back in Toronto. And so, I guess you could say I was born to play, I was in a pool hall since I was 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
surrounded by a lot of talent.
What was the last event that I got this? Your dad played in an event that we were all around. But this has been probably a decade, maybe even more than a decade.
Probably the U.S. Open. He used to come to Chesapeake. I want to say that.
Okay, that's probably where it was.
So,
Right.
was your,
Okay.
so you played pool obviously at a young age. Your both parents being pro. Did you think this was going to be your goal all along, be a pro, or did you ever think I'm going to have a different career? Or what age did you realize?
I never thought that. When I was probably about 10, and that's when I finally got tall enough to reach over the table, and I started running out at that age, and I was like, wow, I this is my calling. Like, I'm pretty good at this, and I instantly thought, like, I can be a world champion. I'm going to be a world champion one day, and that thought right there has, I've been chasing that for 24, 25 years now. And, I've traveled the world and then competed with the best. So, but it was that initial thought when I was like 10 or 11 that, yeah, I want to be a world champion. It was that title, and just, I want to get out there and play. It's all I wanted to do. Like, it was just like one day everything clicked, and I realized how easy the game could be. Something just clicked with me, because I grew up watching not just mom and dad, but Alex Pegulayan. He came to Canada when he was 14. I was about 5 years old. So I watched him throughout the years when I went to go see my parents, and Alex was phenomenal. And he was just such a showman, entertainer. He still
Really
is, but back then, yeah. And so, like, I had a lot of good talent around me. I was really lucky, and I absorbed so much of that information, And so when I finally was tall enough to play, I just knew what to do naturally, I was lucky.
It's not very often we get a player on the show. I don't think it's ever been that we had a player on the show where his parents played at such a high level, or parents played really at all. My parents didn't play pool at all, but his dad, like, I'll never forget getting to see him play. Similar to Oscar and Ernesto, very similar. His dad could really play, like really play. So I guess when they say it's in your blood, like maybe it really is in your blood.
Yeah, and I think maybe the reason I could play left-handed is because it's in my blood so well. Like, my mother was a righty, my dad was a lefty, and like, yeah, I put in a lot of work and I built up my stroke from scratch playing left-handed, but maybe I get that from dad, where I could do both.
Well, not everybody
No.
do that at what he did. We'll get to that, Bobby. I'm sure Bobby has a line of questions. We're going to definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's something we want to talk about. So if you're watching, don't go anywhere, please.
Let's talk about, I know you're young. I think you won Turning Stone when you were like 17, 18, right?
I finished second when I was 17 to Johnny Archer. That was my first big pro result. And yeah, it took me almost 20 years to win the tournament just a couple months ago. I've been going there for 20 years because I live 5 hours away. It's upstate New York. We drive from Toronto. A lot of Canadians go to that event. So,
well, touching on it, I've said all week, Bobby, and I mean, he knows I know his game probably as good as anybody, and which is true. I staked on him back in the day. I staked him back in the day, bet on him most of his youth when he first come on the scene. Is that true or false?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and I think right now, and how old are you, John?
36.
I think right now he's playing the best pool of his career. There's just, for me, it's no question. I don't know how he feels, because I know as a pool player, sometimes you can be a little bit hard on yourself at times, but I think he's playing the best pool of his career.
I felt that way a couple months ago when in January I won Turning Stone, and just before that I won a tournament in Canada, and then I got second in the Bigfoot to Federer. I think at the beginning of the year, from the start of the year to the middle of the Derby, I lost my first match to Federer and in the Bigfoot, but up until that point I think I won like 33 matches in a row, and I never counted my matches, but I was on such a long streak. I kept track. I was like, wow, this is incredible, right? And then they made me play like 6 matches one day at the Derby, and it just completely killed me. And right after I lost the Bigfoot to Federer, I had to play filler round 9 undefeated in the banks, like drained. At midnight they made me play, and so I lost that, and it just put me off. And since then I feel like I hit a plateau, and I'm just not where I was in January.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But that's in your mind, though.
Yeah.
My job from the outside looking in is I really watch you play. I'm serious. Like that's my job. That's what we do. Jeremy, Carl and I, and my job is to watch you play. And when you were at the PLP this week, even though the results weren't what you wanted to be, you're looking at it different than somebody maybe from the outside. Maybe that's why people have coaches nowadays, especially a lot of these young, great players. But to me, it still looks like you're going through the ball better than you've ever gone through the ball. Just because you don't get the results you get, that's part of this game, right?
Yeah.
Look at most of these players. Look at what's happened to Federer this last year. He just had some good results, but after those big wins he had,
been dry.
He's been struggling.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen to you. So I hope you don't get into this mindset where you're thinking, "Oh, this happened to me," and now you're just going down this path where it's all,
Yeah, I don't think it really it's making me think negatively in that sense. Like that one match that I lost to Federer. Now all of a sudden, I just can't get it right. I think I'm just more burnt out because I've been playing so much pool.
It makes sense.
And so that's why after this tournament, these last couple of days, I haven't hit a ball. I've been going to the gym, just relaxing, and then going to Vegas tomorrow, and the U.S. Opens are going to start at Griff's. But I'm not going to really play between now and then. I might hit balls Thursday, Friday, and then the tournament will start Saturday. And then on Wednesday, I have a PRP appointment. It's a pretty cool procedure where they take the blood out of the area where you're hurting, and they spin it or do something with it, and then they inject it back into you, and it has a lot of healing properties, kind of like stem cell therapy.
That's what I was going to say. It sounds like that,
but it's not. Yeah, and I'm doing that Wednesday, so hopefully I'll start feeling better because my neck's been bothering me again. Even though I play left-handed, there's still a lot of damage done here over the years. So just stretching like this causes this to be tight. And if I have to break right-handed, I'm in pain. I'm in quite a bit of pain. Not as much as playing right-handed full time.
Are you in immediate pain when you're breaking right-handed, or is it more of a delayed pain? Right then and there, though?
Yeah, I could feel it. It just gets tight. At the end of the day, it'll start getting sore and a little bit painful.
But I know you switch to the right-handed break sometimes.
I need it for 10 ball, 8 ball, any of those games where you need a power break. For this matchroom break, I don't need it. I can play left-handed the whole time, and that's a big bonus for me because now I don't have to take my glove off and put it back on, and that costs me seconds on the clock, and it hurts my neck, So I can stay in stroke better just playing lefty the whole time, So especially with this CPBA cloth, it plays faster.
Much.
It gives me more power on the break that I'm lacking with my left hand. So I love the CPBA cloth change. That's a big plus for me.
It's like glass.
I need that playing opposite handed.
I heard you saying that. I heard you saying that to one of the guys this week, and most of them aren't huge fans, but I get it.
Yeah.
And I think it benefits you.
Yeah, I was in Texas the week before the Texas Open. They always put their cloth on a month or two before the event. So by the time we play the event, the cloth is slow and it's humid, and I felt helpless there. I did not play well. And then I came here and I was doing everything with the cue ball.
This break is brought to you by our sponsors.
I don't think I'm alone when I say that I love an inspirational story, and I'm about to give you one. Manuel Gonzalez Jr. was in the military, ended up going to the Vietnam War, and was tragically injured. Ended up losing his right arm and his right leg, underwent multiple surgeries. When he got out, most people didn't think he would walk, let alone do anything else. And not only did he walk, boy, he walked, but became one of the best pool players in the Denver area where he's from. And when people would come up to him and say, Manuel, sir, how do you do it? He would look directly at them and say, I control the rock. And I think it's pretty awesome. His son, Manuel Gonzalez III, is carrying the torch. He's letting everybody know his father's story, which is fascinating. Go to controltherock.com and check it out. There is a quick video on Manuel's story. You can see this book here and order it if you'd like. There's a jersey just like this and multiple others, which I absolutely love. It's controltherock.com. Manuel Gonzalez Jr. doing big things, carrying the story forward. And I, for myself, absolutely love it. Thank you guys so much. Go to controltherock.com.
I want to talk about my man, Andy Gow. He's been with the Boom and Freezer show since day one.
day one. He's also a friend of mine, and he's also a huge supporter to the world of pool. Andy Gow has been with us and also any other platform you can think of, following, sharing, like, share, and subscribe. That's his motto. So, Andy Gow, I just want to say thanks for being a supporter and a sponsor of the Boom and Freezer Show. You're the man.
Here's somebody and another business that I want to talk about. It's PNW Pool Thing on Facebook. Stands for Pacific Northwest Pool Thing Stream. And it's Jesse Johnson. Jesse Johnson used to live here in Phoenix, and he's built all types of trophies. He's in the lighting business as well. But his love and his passion is pool. It's PNW Pool Thing Stream. Now, something else, I was just touching on lighting. You see that J Flowers sign right there? I'd say it's 2 foot by 5 foot, maybe by 4 foot. Listen, I shopped all over the globe online looking for an LED sign or some type of neon sign. LED's the way to go nowadays. This sign is dimmable. I ended up giving him a call, and in no time, this sign was done, but the price is what shocked me. Okay. I'm not making it up. You have to message PNW Pool Thing on Facebook or Instagram, PNW Pool Thing on Facebook or Instagram. His name is Jesse, and tell him the freezer sent you. Not to mention, go to PNW Pool Thing and check out their stream. It's PNW Pool Thing Stream. They're streaming your greatest content every single day. They're known as the best streamers up in the Northwest. PNW, as I said, stands for Pacific Northwest. They're simply known to stream in one of the best venues I've seen. If you go on there, you're going to be hooked. You're going to see the venue, the lighting around the table, the backdrops, everything is to the nines. PNW Pool Thing on Facebook. Thank you, Jesse Johnson, for the support, and keep doing what you're doing.
Let's talk about NM Billiards. That's NM as Nick Marina Billiards. He has an office in Berlin. It's his home. He also does a lot of cool things. He has a garage where he stores pool tables as well. If you need any kind of table work in the East Coast, give him a call. He can refurbish your table. He can buy your table. He can sell your table. And he can also refelt it. So if you need any work done, check out. The link is in our bio. It's NM Billiards. It's Nick Marino. An awesome dude. He'll take care of you or whatever you need as far as table work, whether it's refurbishing the table, bringing it back to life and getting it refelted, getting it reclothed, whatever you need. Check out Nick Marino Billiards.
I have to mention my friends here in North Phoenix. It's Metro Sports Bar and Grill. David Lee, the owner, and Alfonso, they do nothing but care for this business. It's got your favorite sporting events. The minute you walk in the front door and look to the left, there is a wall of TVs, has to be upwards of 50 flat screen TVs. They've got the food you want. They've got every sporting event you're looking for. But more importantly for me, they've got 8 9-foot tables, and they're diamonds and they're blue labels. These tables are in such great condition. I don't think there's a table in the country that plays any better than all 8 of these tables. Just keeps them in perfect condition year around. And they know how to keep a table because they play themselves. They've got 9 bar tables. Yes, blue label diamond bar tables. And they do the same for those tables. This place is your destination if you like sports and you like pool. Every single night of the week, they have some type of a tournament. They have leagues there. And then on the weekends, it's run and gun. People have a blast. It's in a great location. It's in North Phoenix off the I-17 in Dunlap. Do me a favor. If you're in Phoenix, you have to check out Metro Sports Bar and Grill. Tell them the freezer sent you.
Wayne Harriman, the Sandman, doesn't get better than this guy. Wayne Harriman has been around for a long time supporting this sport and doing so many big things for it. I've seen him sponsor females for ladies events. I've seen him sponsor men that didn't have the money to play an event, whether it's locally or even a couple pro events. Wayne Harriman, the Sandman, has done a lot for pool. So thank you very much, Wayne. We appreciate you, man. Agape Sober Homes is a nonprofit organization that helps people with addictions, whether it's drug or alcohol, give them a place to live. Suad, a good pool player in his own right, is the head of the organization. And you can check out the link in the bio. It's Agape Sober Homes. And again, what they are doing is they're providing homes and places to live for people that are in need, whether it's drugs or alcohol. I know everybody can talk about somebody in their family, if not themselves, that struggled with it. So many people have struggled with it in my lifetime. I've lost friends through addiction. My dad was an alcoholic. I can talk about him now. He passed away, but I remember going to Al-Anon meetings. So the addiction is real. Everybody knows about it. And what Suad is doing is fantastic. So check it out. It's Agape Sober Homes. And if you know somebody that needs help, have them contact him. Maybe he can help them out. Or if you want to volunteer, it's a nonprofit organization that helps people with addictions. Suad, great job. Agape Sober Homes. Check them out in the bio.
Now back to the show.
I want to talk a little bit about, you're talking about Turning Stone and then Derby, because the Shark Stream where I was on, we were following you because we had access to Turning Stone. We watched all your matches, and I'm saying what Scott said. I saw you playing top of your level. I saw incredible play. Then we were able to actually do some of you in Derby, and we thought it was unfair. Like, you had to go play that 10-ball match against Fedor, and then right away play Filler. And this, I think it was at 10:30 at night, right?
Yeah.
11 o'clock at night.
Midnight.
I covered
Midnight.
that match as well,
Yeah.
and I knew you were heated before you ever got to it.
We thought it was
Yeah,
going to postpone until tomorrow or the next day.
Balls. I mean, I could see Filler banking balls for like an hour, waiting for me. I'm coming off a 10-foot match, and
Finals match,
I was
right?
tired.
Finals match.
Yeah, and you barely lost in that match. I
barely lost.
didn't get to see it, but I was keeping up with the
I
score.
could have ran out Hill. It was tricky position, tough run out, but I could have made it Hill, and I would have been
Yep.
breaking. So it was close, and he had a big lead the whole
Did
way.
you miss an easy ball or what?
No, it was really tough to get position from the 4 to the 6,
Uh-huh.
and I came short, and I had to play a combo on the 6-10, a really fine cut into the side.
With distance or something?
Yeah,
a weird
yeah, it
angle.
was just tricky.
It was weird
I was,
angle.
I'm not gonna lie. I might have just twitched it and dogged it a little bit. You know, it happens when the pressure's on.
It happens.
Yeah.
But I agree with Scott. Like I said, I think you're playing magnificent. I can't wait to see what this year is going to bring for you. I do want to ask that big question. You already talked a little bit about righty, lefty, right? You said you got a little bit of pain to your left. You know, there's a lot of rumors out there about you, right? About lefty, righty, why you switched, how you switched. You know,
Right.
like people are, oh, he got into a car accident. Oh, he's in pain.
Most of it was in the pool world.
Yeah, the pool world. Like why he switched from righty to lefty, right? There's a lot of rumors about you, why you switched from lefty to righty.
Yeah.
You know, do you know all the rumors? You hear some of them?
Yeah, some people think I got in an accident, car accident, or they just don't know. Yeah. And the real reason is because I'm so left eye dominant now. And Scott will remember back when I was a kid, my cue was in the middle of my chin.
Well, you were actually even crossed
I was right in the middle
Yeah.
of my chin.
to get there.
And I was perfect when I was right there. There was no pain. And slowly over the years, I became more left eye dominant. And then as it got more left, I had to put this arm underneath my left eye. So I'm squeezing this trap, and it just killed me over the years. Like the pain all up in here, going to my head. It's tight right now, you know, from playing in this PLP, you know, 10 matches in 2 days and not even playing with my right hand. So I was in so much pain that I had to quit playing pool. It was just too much, you know, and there's nothing I could do. You can't switch your eye dominance. People say you could train your other eye.
No
Yeah,
chance.
you can train it a little bit, but I'm never going to get my cue from here.
No,
back
that's
to
a-
here.
No, you can't go from there.
And the only way for me to not feel pain is if my cue's here, you know. There's other players like Albin Ocean that's over here too, but he's always been that way. Wu Cha-Ching's always been that way. So their body's like adapted to it. They're used to
Well,
it.
a lot has to do. So I'm going to touch on it because I teach a lot. And Jeremy and I talk about it. But he started center and ended up becoming cross-bodied, right? And when you become cross-bodied, now you're tweaking your back, right? Which will start to mess with this. The most important thing, though, when he's talking about Albin and Wu Cha-Ching, is I'm pretty sure not that his back foot was in the wrong place, but his back foot was in the right place when it was here. But when he started to come here, he didn't adjust his back foot. And this is why it's really important when we're teaching. I'm talking about Jeremy and I. I mean, Jeremy's big on it. I'm very big on it now. I carry tape around with me. And the back foot is the most important thing because it has to be in the shot line. The front foot, no big deal. But this is how players develop injuries, pinch nerves, and things like this. And when he's trying to make that adjustment, I'm not saying he made a mistake or it's his fault, but it's very hard to change your stance, switch hands, all this other crap, you know. So I think that's probably what caused it. I couldn't believe how cross-bodied you got over time.
Yeah. Yeah, and it sucked because like in the middle of my chin, I was extremely talented. And then as my cue got underneath my left eye, I think I started to decrease. I started to decline in skill. Even though I was winning and doing well, like the pain was causing me a lot of, you know, like mental as well. You know, it was hurting my mental, hurting my confidence. I was always like in a, you know, pissed off mood, or just wasn't, you know, you're never happy when you're in pain. And my level just declined over the years. You know,
I could
as it
imagine
became-
what that would do to you mentally,
oh,
right?
Yeah.
But when he says, Bobby, and I'm just saying, because I was close to him, him and I've been close a long time, very close. We've never had a problem. We've been very good friends a long time. He just said he had so much talent when he was here and when he was righty. I understand where he is, and I know that he's thinking like he could have been this much better. I don't know if he realizes how great he is as a lefty. That's the problem, right? Like, I think from watching from the outside in, I think his talent is equal. I mean, you can't achieve, I know you haven't won a world championship, but you can't achieve much more than what you've achieved, bro, with what you're doing. So your talent to me doesn't look much different than when you were a right-handed player.
Yeah.
I know that your mind is
I'm happy with where I'm at, but there's so much unfinished business, like tournaments I thought I should have won right-handed, you know, like I feel like I'm underachieved as a right-handed player. And yeah, I'm doing great left-handed, but I miss playing with my strong hand. Like I'm not coordinated with my left hand.
You're right-handed. You're right-handed, right?
I'm not ambidextrous. Right. Yeah, I'm right-handed on everything I do. And the amount of power that I have in my right hand versus my left is huge, the comparison. Coordination, power, and like I know I can never go back to it, but I miss it, you know. And I went back to it actually last year. I played for 2 months right-handed.
Remember, we interviewed at the International. We talked about it. Everybody's like, "Is he playing right-handed? What's going on?"
Well, I got to Final 8 of the Super Billiards Expo, and I just tried it for a couple months because I started my contract with Lucasi, and all they had were wood shafts, and I cannot play with a wood shaft as a lefty. I don't have the power. I need a carbon fiber as a lefty. So I was playing bad with these wood shafts, and so I switched to my right hand so I could have the power, and that killed me for 2 months. Like the pain just all came back the way it used to be.
So the pain wasn't sudden. That's what I was trying to kind of get at. Sometimes is it sudden? Is it right then and there? Or is it delayed?
No,
it's more delayed though.
It's delayed.
It's
like
real strong.
If I practice for an hour, the first 10, 20 minutes, I won't feel nothing.
Yeah.
And then it'll start getting tight. Then it'll get painful.
Miserable.
You know. And so I couldn't take it anymore. I had to go back to my left. And then Lucasi came out with a carbon fiber. They're going to release it soon. And it's been the best shaft. That's the happiest I've been with their equipment since we started our contract a year ago. And they've been so great to work with. Lucasi, Brunswick, Q&K.
Shout out to both of them,
Baron, Savannah. Like I'm on a great team. They take care of me like nobody has ever taken care of me in this industry, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm happy with them. I'm happy with the carbon fiber now. And yeah, I'm in a good place, you know? I just have to maintain and manage this pain because this is always here, right here, you know. Like,
is it like when you say it's always there? Because I have a pinched nerve as well. Most pool players have pinched nerves. Is it there like right now?
It's tight, right here, right around here. It's a little bit sore, a little bit tight. When I'm around cold water, ice cold showers, or doing cold plunges, that just eliminates it all. Yeah. That's a big therapy for me. Acupuncture, massage. So I gotta, you know, there's certain stretches I do every day. And there's a lot that goes into maintaining this. Like I spend a lot of money and spend a lot of time. You know? It's something that I have to take care of. If I don't, I cannot play.
Yeah.
You know? I just can't.
So real quick, Bobby. So what is the injury? Is it a pinched nerve?
No. I had an MRI, and the guy took a look at it in Vegas, my chiropractor there, and that's who I got the stem cell therapy through. He took a look at it, and what happened is from all the years of playing, there's tissue in between your vertebrae, and between the C5 and C6 vertebrae, the tissue is wearing down. And that's what's causing me a lot of pain. And like, if it wears down completely, it becomes herniated. That's a problem, you know, and it's a herniated disc. So I got the stem cell therapy. And for the first few months, I felt better than I ever felt. It was amazing. But I play so much pool that I'm wearing that tissue down again, you know? So the stem cell, it might be something I have to do, you know, like on a yearly basis. Or
You did that a few years ago in Vegas,
I
right?
did it 2 years ago now. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember talking to you.
I tell you, you know, for everybody out there watching, pool players, and you know, yours may be a little different, but there's so many pool players out there. This career that you have to take care of your body, right? Because it's very, like you say, I'll play in pool. It's not that hard. There's so many good players with whether shoulder, elbow, all kinds of injuries from going into playing so much pool, right?
Right. As a teenager in your 20s, you don't think of it because your body's fine, but like your body's not meant to be in this position. It's an unnatural position. And we're spending 5-8 hours, you know, every day in that position. You know, you're going to start feeling it when you're like in your mid 20s, 30s, 40s. Right. And
Yeah, some people, I think genetics have a lot to do with it, right? The older you are, probably the more you're going to feel it. But some feel it, like Federer. He really struggles with his neck. It all, I think it's more kind of the luck of the draw and your genetics. But sooner or later, you're going to feel it.
Problems with his shoulder.
He's been
Shane on his bridge arm. He shakes now. This shakes right here.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something up with him. You know, it's just, we're just weathered. You know, we play a lot of pool.
What did you say to me yesterday when we were watching the finals? You said I was damaged goods.
Damaged goods. Yeah, we're damaged goods.
We're damaged goods.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 6'3". I'm very fortunate. Most of my career, I didn't have a back issue, but I also think that it had to do with, you know, because I'm left-handed accidentally. I don't do anything left-handed.
But you're left eye dominant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
you
I
guys
was
are two.
always
You guys two are rare breeds for sure.
Yeah, but I was always luckily correct. When I started playing, I thought we were playing right-handed accidentally, and after 20 minutes, I couldn't go back.
Yeah.
So I was
You do everything right-handed.
I can't spell my name left-handed. I can't even write my first
crazy.
initial left-handed.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but
That is.
but that's
Two rare birds.
But this is kind of my point, though. This is why I truly am a firm believer, and that's why I don't ever give up and why I work so hard. I'm a firm believer that you can do anything you want. I swear I'll look you straight in the camera if you put your mind to it.
Yeah.
I truly believe it. I don't fucking care if you're left-handed, right-handed,
Yeah.
or 40-handed. Look at what he's done. I mean, I'm telling you, you know, it's unbelievable.
It was the saddest day of my life when I had to quit pool. I was dating a girl at the time back in Toronto, and I made the decision to quit. And I went into my room and I cried like I never cried before, because I felt it was all my fault with the addiction, booze, and I felt like, you know, doing that from such a young age, maybe that was bad for my vision, and I blame myself. I don't know if that was true, but you take all the blame when you live that way, right? And I went in my room and I'm crying, like I'm like scream crying, and she comes in there and she's like, "What? You're a mess." Like,
how old were you?
I was 20. This is 8 years ago. I was 28.
Okay.
You know, I had to quit pool, and I was like, I felt like such a disappointment. Like, this is the game I love. I was meant to be one of the youngest world champions. Like, I had so much. I was the protege, you know, of my mom and dad, and like grew up with Alex, and you know, I had those high hopes.
Felt like you're letting the world down. You felt you're letting everybody down.
I felt like the biggest piece of, you know.
For sure. How did you quit? Did you quit?
No, I quit playing for like a month or two. I did not touch a cue, and I love house music, and I started DJing in Toronto. We have a big scene there for house music, and that's when I started DJing. But like, that's what I wanted to do as a career, but I knew how long it would take me to get established, and I was just like, this isn't going to work. So I started giving lessons, pool lessons back home, because I was terrified of getting a real job. I never worked a real job in my life, right? I was like, there's no way. So I gave pool lessons, and then I started playing lefty. Like probably a year or two before I quit playing right-handed. It was in the back of my mind, like, I'm probably going to have to play left-handed, and I can do it. Like, this was an idea, but it was so deep down buried. Like, I didn't want to have to face it, because
like, was that idea in your mind prior to you even
a couple Yeah, a couple years before I quit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, this is something I might have to do. I'm in too much pain, and I can play lefty because I started practicing lefty when I was about 17, and I got pretty good at
I
it.
remember
Yeah.
this. I remember this. You were in Q Masters in Virginia
Yeah.
Beach, and you started practicing left-handed, and nobody knew why you were doing it.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, so I got good at it over the years, and then when I started feeling that pain, I was like, I'm gonna have to quit pool and start playing lefty. But it took me a couple years to actually quit, and so I was giving lessons, and I started gambling with guys at home in Toronto that would never play me with my right hand. They tried me lefty, and I started beating all those guys for cash, and then I just started playing every single day. And 5 months later, I won a pro event in Canada. I beat Mika in the final. Mika beat me in the year Hill when I was a righty. The following year, I beat him in the final as a lefty Hill. It was so cool. It was crazy too. Because
Rest
the
in
last
peace to me.
RIP, yeah, the last 4 matches I beat like Shane, Corey, Billy Thorpe, and then Mika. And yeah, I just went with it.
After
I
that,
just
you said
ran
I'm
with it.
comfortable and I'm sticking to it.
I accelerated quick, and I was like, this is cool. I was learning the game all over again, not in pain. And like I knew how I needed to hit the ball, but I couldn't do it. So it was such a challenge. It was so enjoying, like to be back at that low level. I felt like a kid again.
How long did it take you to even develop any type of power with this arm?
Not too long.
What's not
Like
too long?
I don't know. It's hard to go back and look now. I mean, I won the tournament
pretty
5 months
strong.
after I switswitched, so I probably had the power a month or two in.
Okay,
because I was
what
playing
figured.
every day, like religiously.
Because that's what.
And just-
Obviously, it was really the timing. It wasn't really the power, right? You had to get your timing down.
yeah, timing and just develop a stroke. And the best way to develop the stroke was what I do on the line, that line drill I always do. And it just developed my stroke out of nothing. Like it just showed me where my stroke was going offline, and I developed a feel. And that's really what developed my stroke better than anything, is that line drill that everybody sees me doing on the rail.
Again, RIP to.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
unfortunate loss, big loss in the pool community. But after that big win, at that point, you said did you feel rejuvenated? Like, okay, I'm going to start all over again. I'm going to do this.
Yeah, it was great, but it's crazy because like they say, I've heard some guys say like Denzel Washington and other people, they're like, whenever you're at your very highest, that's when the devil comes for you the most, right?
Yep.
And it's funny because the night before I played the final with Mika, I go to 12-step meetings and for recovery, and
He was just at one.
yeah, for addiction and alcoholism,
Today.
right? And I was 3.5 years clean and sober at the time when I won this tournament, but I had not gone to a meeting for like 1.5 years, which is not good. I was just doing it on my own. I was living in Texas at the time. Things weren't going well in my relationship, but I was back in Canada for that tournament. And the day before I beat Mika in the final, I was with my friend at dinner, and he was having an old fashioned. I was like, I never had that drink, right? And we were eating steak, and I was like, I'm gonna have a glass of wine though. Like, what's one glass of wine? I haven't had a drink in 3.5 years, or substance, anything. Like, let me just have a glass of wine, right? And that's just what happens. Like when recovering alcoholics or addicts don't go to meetings, like they believe that lie, or that they in their head that they can drink safely, right? And I just convinced myself that I could drink safely, and I had that one glass of wine. That's all I had. The next day I won the tournament. I had another glass of wine after I won the tournament. I smoked a cigarette. And then next week I'm in Texas, back at home where I was living at the time, and I'm completely off the rails, like just going on mad benders.
I mean, that's where
things got quickly right after my win.
Yep.
Well, that old fashioned that his friend had was the trigger.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was the trigger.
Really was.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little about addiction. I mean, everybody has somebody with addiction. My sister's been clean for 35 years, and she still goes to meetings to this day. She still goes. I call her, "What are you doing?" I'm at a meeting. So I totally get it. You know what I mean?
I was addicted.
Yep.
Yeah, he knows.
Yep.
I had some problems. Me and Johnny were on a mission together for quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so common in the pool world, Like
I think it's everywhere, though, John. I really do. I think it's everywhere, but definitely in the pool world.
Every industry has it.
Well,
every industry.
it's all around us.
Yeah, I go into a meeting and I see people from every walk of life.
Yep.
You know, in there, from the lawyers, doctors, athletes to the homeless, whatever.
Well, I'm going to give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors, AKP Sober Homes. What they do for people like that need it, they give homes out for the people who can't afford it, that are struggling and going through addictions. So shout out to AKP Sober Homes. Suad, great pool player, and he's involved. So shout out to him. Great job. But like you said, everybody, lawyers, people are homeless, right? All kinds of things you see. And so you got clean 2 times? Or you have a couple other issues?
When I was dating that girl that I mentioned back in Toronto, I started going to meetings probably when I was about 24. I had just come back from the Philippines. I was living there like 8 months out of the 2.5 years. I was going back there quite a bit, and my drinking got really crazy in the Philippines. But it was always crazy, but I became like a daily drinker there. And I came back to Canada, and I was so desperate just to change. Like, I just felt horrible, miserable. My friend gave me this book called Jesus Calling or something. And I'm not like a big Jesus person, but I was so desperate. I read this book.
It's not desperate.
And I was like, God help me, right? And it's funny because when the student's ready, the teacher appears, you know? And I just had to ask for help. And he put that girl in my path, and her and I fed off each other's addictions. And I couldn't keep up with her. You know, she was like an everyday user, and I was like a binge on the weekend, that kind of guy. And I told her, look, we're going to have to go our separate ways or get clean. This isn't going to work. And so she's like, okay, but I need help. I need to go to meetings. She had been in recovery before. She asked if I would go with her. And so I went with her as support, but still in denial about my own problem. But eventually, going to meetings with her, we got on the same page and we got clean together. She's stayed clean. She's over 10 years clean and sober.
This is a girl
She's
I
still
knew
a
well,
friend of
right?
mine. Yeah.
She's a sweetheart.
Awesome.
Yeah, sweetheart. And
yeah, awesome.
I fell off because I stopped going to meetings. I stopped working the program. And my problem is, like, I always just wanted to get sober so that I can go out and play better pool. It wasn't, I was in it for the wrong
Not for
reason,
John Morra,
you know?
for playing pool.
I never did it for me. I never
Exactly.
did it for, like, as a person. Like, I never had enough love for myself to do it. Like, pool has always been something I loved way more than I should. I think it's because at home it was so rough. My dad really wasn't in my life till later on. We have a good relationship, but he just wasn't able to be in my life until later on. My mom was very sick. There was a lot of shit that went on, and pool was my like escape. It was my savior. It was like my happy place. And then I started winning at it, and that was my first addiction. But when I lost at it, it was the end of the world because it meant too much to me because I didn't like anything else in life. I didn't like school. I didn't like my family. So it just became too much of an obsession. And so when I got sober, it was not for me. It was for the game. And so I would get sober, do well in the game. But then eventually I'd stop going to meetings because in the meetings, they teach you to do the 12 steps, and then you have to pass it on the 12th step. You got to try to help someone else get sober, take them through the 12 steps. And I never did that. So I was just selfish with it. I just wanted to get sober for me and go play pool, and then I would stop going.
It's called sponsoring, right?
Yeah, sponsoring. So I relapsed all the time because I never sponsored anyone. And then 4.5 years ago, it was the last time I ever used a substance. It was in New Orleans at Buffalo's. I was just messed up. I blew through so much money. I was beating everyone for a few months, and then it was like 10 months clean and sober. And I completely went off the rails for like 4 days. That's all it took me. In 4 days, I blew through like a lot of money and almost died. I was up for 4 days. I felt like I was just going to have a heart attack. You know, it got really, really ugly. And I went back to Vegas with no money. I was living in Vegas at the time, just coming off of that brutal relapse. And I've been clean and sober ever since because I sponsor guys now. I'm not doing it for the game so I can go out there and play my best.
I'm doing John Morra.
For me. Like I'm how to like love me more than the game, you know? Like it's just the game at the end of the day. It is my career, but it's unhealthy to wrap up your whole identity into what you do as your career.
I think that's the
You know?
key, right? Even in like pool will teach you that first. The biggest enemy when you're a professional pool player is yourself, right?
Absolutely.
Always.
Yeah.
But if you're not a professional pool player, just going through your daily lives, we're all our own worst enemies. We don't have to be good at pool. It could be anything else.
Mhm.
And if that's the case, we're always self-destructing before anything else.
Yeah.
And that's not just pool, right? That's anything people do. So it's really good to be aware of that. Good work. Ron.
Yeah.
Great
thank
job.
you.
Congrats.
Appreciate
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I want to ask
Thank
Scott.
you. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just gonna to touch on that a little bit more. I was just gonna say like I couldn't live sober. I didn't know how to do that, you know. And looking back on it now, it's like I can't believe
That
like,
you did it.
I made it through all that darkness because
Yeah.
it was that
Yeah.
bad, you know.
Yep.
It
That was your
like,
truth.
this thing
That was your
still-
truth, right? That's what you were living.
People don't know that. People see me like addicts and alcoholics. They live a double life, right? Like they see me at the pool tournaments. You're never gonna see me using. You might see me drinking like way back in the day, but I show up and I'm professional. I try to be, and I don't look like the things I do behind closed doors, you know. But I was just living a double life, and it was so unhealthy.
I know
Same
Scott.
here.
I know Scott can live to
2010.
that, right? Can contest to that.
Well, I never did drugs my whole career, and I always made sure if I partied, it was never around pool because that was business first. But in 2010, I took a pain pill playing a money match, and
Mhm.
that was history. The rest was history. It was like a year later, I was laying in the bathroom in a one-bedroom apartment in the fetal position, trying to go cold turkey.
Yeah,
And I was like 35 days in, and my poor girlfriend's looking at me throwing up blood
Yeah.
and everything. I finally got help. And thank God I did, you know, and
Yeah.
since then, my whole life's changed.
Yep. Now,
Yeah.
did you take it?
Don't get me wrong. I'll still drink every now and then, but I
Right.
haven't, you know, I don't ever drink
Right.
really. I never drink actually.
yeah.
Anyway, go
So
ahead.
when you took that pain pill, was it just to try it to keep up, or were you in some kind of pain?
I was in a long money match. I'm not going to say a very famous player that everybody knows. I was in a long money match, a world champion player, and we had been playing like 20 some hours. And somebody that was with me, that was a very smart person, but somebody that was with me gave me a 5 milligram Percocet. And then this was back in 2010. And the problem was then is the literature wasn't out there, right? There was no literature out there saying, hey, if you take this, you're probably going to want another one because you're going to feel good. And by the way, once you start taking those, you
10 a
can't get
day.
off of
Yeah,
them.
10 a day. Yep.
Right. The information just wasn't out there yet at all, like it should have been.
Yeah.
And you know, before I knew it, when I took that 5 milligram Percocet, I thought I was Superman. I started playing better, and I felt really good, which was weird.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing you know, the next day, that was the only pill I took, but the next day I started looking for them. I'm like, fuck, I want another one of those, right?
Yeah, you want that ease and comfort. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And literally before I knew it, I was taking about 20 a day.
Wow.
So
Yeah, it gets ugly quick.
So,
Yeah.
John, when you were playing, when you were, it's okay to talk about it, right? When you were using, talk about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're younger and you're playing and you're, you know, partying, drinking, doing whatever, you still play pretty good pool. Were you playing big money matches at that point when you're drinking it, or?
A little bit. Yeah, like I really didn't start doing drugs until I was like 24, 25, and that lasted up until 5 years ago almost now.
Yep.
So it was like I had like a 5-year stint where I was
Doing a
doing
lot
the
of bad
drugs,
things.
But
Yep.
before that I was always a partier, like drinker, just a drinker, But I never did it while I was playing. Maybe in the last year of my addiction, I was taking Adderall while I was playing.
what was your drug, John?
I loved cocaine. I loved MDMA. I loved the party drugs.
Yeah.
I loved Adderall, uppers. I liked uppers. I
Uppers.
wasn't a downer person, because I'm already like a reserved kind of person, right? Like I want to be up. I want speed, And yeah, those were the things I chased for years, and I'm glad I did that because it made me realize how much of an addict I am. I wasn't in denial about it anymore. Like as a drinker, I think drinking's got to be the worst
Oh.
one because it's so socially acceptable. I drank like everyone else. There's no problem
Right.
with me, right? But when I got into the drugs and I did the drugs like how I did drinking, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like I have
Well-
a serious substance abuse problem, not just it's anything I put in me, that I
Okay.
can't control.
I'll touch on it real quick so people don't know, but I did get a world-renowned doctor, and I've talked to kids for years now. I think you know that, Bobby, but I still donate my time, volunteer my time, and go to a place called STI, Scottsdale Treatment Institute, and I volunteer my time because I'm kind of a story that I did beat it. But when he just mentioned alcohol, we probably all had a family member that's dealt with alcohol or known somebody. I've got a family member right now that's dealing with alcohol, and my family is very successful. So alcohol doesn't
Discriminate. No,
Discriminate.
for sure. Absolutely not.
discriminate. And this family member was just in ICU that's struggling with alcohol right now, and I didn't know it. My family failed to tell me this because they were afraid that I was going to leave what I was doing. Alcohol is the worst drug on the planet, bar none, period. And it's also the hardest drug to come off of. It's the only drug in the world. I know this because I know quite a bit about it, and I research it, and I work with a lot of kids. It's the only drug in the world that you can die from when you come off
Right.
of it.
If you go off
Yep.
cold turkey.
It's the only drug in the world that you can die from.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people, because it's legal, a lot of people make excuses for alcohol. And
Right.
there's just nothing good that comes out of it.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Absolutely. I don't miss the price I had to pay. If I could still do it and not pay the price, I'd still be doing it because I love to party,
Yeah, of course.
And it was so much fun. I've had a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't all bad, but most of it got ugly, I just can't do it safely. You know what I mean? I can't. If I have one's too many, 1,000 is never enough, I just get triggered, and life is good today. Sometimes it's a little boring, but I'll take that boring, paying my bills, being ahead,
Yep.
saving money, than drinking, drugging, blowing tens, 20,000s in the
Thousands,
casinos.
you're saying.
You know what I mean? You make horrible decisions drinking and drugging, like horrible decisions, ruin relationships.
This break is brought to you by our sponsors. It's Hilltop Promotions. That's right, Hilltop Promotions. Know the name, hear it out. Hilltop Promotions. It's Steven Tucker and Joe Furtado. These guys are bringing back the 80s, 90s, all the way to the present. They are from Anderson, South Carolina, and they have built a one-on-one venue unlike any other. What their idea is to start out is they're going to take two players, let's say from the 90s, like Tommy Kennedy and Johnny Archer in the finals of the U.S. Open. Tommy Kennedy won that match, right? It was one of the most talked about U.S. Open events of all time. They're still talking about that event. They want to take two players like that and throw them in a ring head to head and let them battle it out for big, big money. And I think that this format is absolutely insane. Guaranteed 10,000 for first place, and the winner continues forward. Okay. And that's where it's really key. Second place, or if you don't win, you're guaranteed 5,000, all expenses paid. These guys are for real. No joke. It's going to happen. They've already got the venue done, and it is incredible. It's Hilltop Promotions, Steven Tucker and Joe Furtado. They're looking to bring back the 90s, okay? All the way to the future. They're going to have elite players from this generation, from the past, but what they're trying to do is take these players from major finals and butt them up head to head so the loser has a chance at revenge. Hilltop Promotions. Keep an eye out for them.
I want to take a minute here to talk about In the Box. Now, In the Box, Elvis has been with us since day one. He's a huge supporter to the world of pool, but not only that, he has great products. For one, look at this banner behind us. That was done by him. That's the Boom and Freezer Show. But he also can get you some shirts. If you need APA shirts, UPL League shirts, any other shirts you need for your teams or any other sporting event, you can check out Elvis. That's inthebox.com. The link is in our bio. Check them out. They do great stuff. You can get your names on them, get your names on the side. He also personalizes a lot of shirts and stuff like that. So if you want If you have something special you want on it, let him know. He can make it look amazing. So check it out. That's inthebox.com. The link is in the bio. And Elvis, tell him the Boom and Freezer sent you. You might even get a discount.
Going to talk about a pool room that really needs no introduction, but this pool room is talked about all over the country, if not all over the globe. I don't know anybody that's sponsoring and representing more players than these people, but it's David and Leah Bartosiak. This room is in South Florida. This room is called Classics. That's right. It's Classic Billiards. I'll tell you what, they've got 9,300 square feet and it's plush with diamond tables, bar tables, 9-footers. But one key feature that I'm personally in love with is a technologically advanced arena, and it's called the Aramith Arena. He's holding major events there, the PLP with Matchroom, one-on-ones. He had the Spanish Open with the 3-on-3s. He's doing it all. But this venue and this arena is second to none and dear to my heart because he's got an actual commentary platform and booth with windows that you can sit up there and work from. And me, personally, to call the games, I love it. Classic Billiards in South Florida, 9,300 square feet, full of the best tables on the planet, and the environment is second to none. Dave is not the church type going guy. He's the type of guy to let it rip. He likes to yell, likes to scream, likes to have fun. The vibe in this business is something I've never experienced before. And that's the vibe that he's trying to create all over the world. And I think he can do it. Dave is a leader. I love him like a brother. It's Classic Billiards in South Florida. And one last thing, don't forget the chicken wings. The honey barbecue chicken wings are truly the best chicken wings I've ever had in my life. And Shane Van Boning can confirm that. Classic Billiards in South Florida. We absolutely love you. Thank you so much.
Tommy's Tattoo Supply is probably one of the largest tattoo supplies companies in the world. And you can check out the link. It's on our bio. That's Tommy's Supplies, Tommy's Tattoo Supplies. This guy's everything you need from tattoos, from ink to tattoo guns, to any other products you need for tattoos. He's got this great color ink as well. You got to check it out. That's Tommy's Supplies. I'm telling you, he's an awesome dude. But not only that, he's very smart. And he's got a great company. And if you have anything to do with tattoos, whether you're a tattoo company or just an artist, you got to check out his website and check him out. I promise you won't be dissatisfied. He'll take care of you, whatever you need. That's Tommy Supplies. Check out the link. We appreciate it, Tommy. Thank you very much.
Now, back to the show.
Canada, American, we're kind of the same, right? But you guys, professional pros, have addictive personality. You guys have to be careful what you do. Everything you're doing. I know that by working with Scott, doing the show, everything's got to be perfect. He's such a, you know what I mean? So all these pool players like yourself, when you get to that level, you have to be really careful with the addiction. The thing I want to ask you guys, Connecticut, USA players seem to have more of a problem than the overseas players. Do you think there's a difference in culture? Why do you think the difference is? We don't see it as much in the younger superstars overseas, but then it's a different time now too, though. But you know what I'm saying?
Talking about the abuse.
Yeah, the abuse of drug and alcohol and the Canadian Americans.
I just think there's so much of it in America. Yep. Really, like the pharmaceutical companies, and there's just so much of it out there. Like it's not regulated. There's so much money being made by big companies, like to get pharmaceutical drugs out there and illegal drugs. Like so much of it. Like America's the biggest consumer of everything in the world. Yeah. So like this is where it all wants. This is where the money is, right? And this is where all the money's made, right? And so all the drugs are here, unfortunately.
And you couple that with their train, like the Europeans just come up a lot different than the Americans. It's a whole different world over there. So we talked to
Christina on the show a couple of weeks ago, and she was talking about Western culture, and the parents are a little more strict than they are here, maybe a little different. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to figure. Like I don't see that on that side of the pond more than we do here. A little bit. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk a little bit about pool. When you were partying, did you play any big matches that you can remember? Just curious, were you like wasted and say, go ahead.
One time I played Danny Smith, and we both had like 7,000 or 8,000 in our pocket. We were playing 1,000 a game, one pocket, and we played for 48 hours. I was eating Adderall for 48 hours, and he would
With
be
him? Were you guys eating it together?
I don't want to. You know what I mean?
Who are you playing?
Yeah, I mean you could think about, right? Danny's clean now, right? But
Yeah, he is clean.
yeah, but him and I battled for 48 hours, and he was on his last barrel, then I was on my last barrel. He was on his last barrel, then I was for 48 hours, and the tournament was going on at Buffalo's, and people were coming in and out, changing clothes like 2 different times.
Scott's reliving it
We're
too.
still in the same.
I remember this,
Yeah.
though. I remember.
And I beat him finally after 2 days, and so I win the 7,000 or 8,000 or whatever, and I crash and go to sleep. I wake up the next day, he wakes up, and we play again. But this time I'm like, there's no way I'm getting back on the Adderall. Like that was just
Too much.
insane. And he beat me for all the money in 3 hours after
Wow.
a 48-hour session. You know, I was so burnt out. He just drilled me. You know, that was one time. I didn't do it very many times. The time that was crazy though, and this was the last time I ever used any substance.
I could never play pool and use speed. I'm too wound up as it is.
The last time I ever did abuse any substance, 4.5 years now, I've been clean and sober. I was playing Jeremy Jones at Buffalo's. I was giving him 9-8.
I was right there for that one too.
I had about
You had him
70K.
buried.
I had about 70K a month before. I was beating everyone. Tony gave me 9-7. I beat him. Colo gave me 10-7. I beat him. Everywhere I went, I was winning. It was like 9 months clean and sober. I was just killing it, right? But I stopped going to meetings. And I win the warm-up tournament before, the 1 ball, 1 pocket for 5K. So now I'm free rolling in the big one, buy half myself in the Calcutta. And I go to bed at the Marriott there where everyone stays. And like this was like divine intervention. I'm telling you. I go to sleep. My room was the only one that got affected. I get the worst case of bed bugs you've ever seen in your life. From my waist down, I got bit, I don't know, 100 times.
Oh my
right?
God.
Or,
Are you talking about the hall?
no, the Marriott, right
Did we all
across from
stay there?
Buffalo's. We usually all
The
stay
nice
there.
one?
Yeah, Spring Hills Marriott
Oh, yeah.
or whatever.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I get bed bugs.
I get an Airbnb.
I wake up.
So I don't stay there.
I wake up like an hour into that sleep, and I can't get back to bed. And I got to play Dennis at noon. Now, I haven't gone to meetings. I'm smoking cigarettes again. Like the old behaviors are returning, you know. And I convinced myself, I said, well, I can win this tournament. I'm playing great. It won't be a relapse if I just take a little Adderall to stay awake. I'm playing Dennis at noon, and I got to play all day. That was the first substance I put in my body after 10 months. And right after I ate the first one, I ate them for 4 days straight, and I never slept.
I'll never forget
Yeah.
that match you guys played.
I never slept, and I lost the Dennis first round, but then I won all my matches on the one loss side with no sleep, not eating, just eating Adderall. And I played Dennis right before the money round to get 11,000 or nothing, and he beats me again. And finally, I go to sleep for 2 hours. I slept 2 hours in 4 days. It was the best sleep I had. I wake up, I start eating the Adderalls again, and I have like 30K in my pocket now. I lost a big set, like for 40, like a couple weeks before. And I gave Jeremy 9-8, raced 7, win by 2.
I'll repeat that again. He gave Jeremy Jones 9-8, playing
Yeah.
1 pocket. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I gave him 9-8, playing 1 pocket. I'm betting 20 of my own cash. I got like 30 to my name. And we're playing race to 7, win by 2. I'm up 4-1, playing great. I lose a game where I need 1 and he needs like 4.
You were up more than that.
This is for me to go up 5-1. No, I was up
What were
4-1.
you racing to?
Racing the 7, win by 2. There was 8, win by 2. I'm supposed to go up 5-1. I needed 1, he needed 4. I lose that game somehow, so now it's 4-2. And all of a sudden, still up 4-2, I felt the most pressure I've ever felt in my life playing pool. Still being up 4-2. It was the combination of like not sleeping for 5
Yeah.
days. Like I guess I was going through psychosis.
And the drugs
I had-
too, for sure.
Yeah,
So
I had
that's psychosis.
I had a panic attack
Yeah.
in the match, and my chest started seizing up really tight. I felt like I was gonna have a heart attack, and everyone was watching, but they didn't know like I was going through this. And I'm like, I'm literally gonna fall over and die, and they're gonna have to carry me out, or like something bad's gonna happen. and I had one little piece of Adderall left in my
By the way,
pocket.
it's not the first time it's happened in that place.
No.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That last year, I can't remember which way. Go ahead.
Right. So I had one little piece of Adderall left in my pocket here. And I said, if I take this, I could die. There's a good chance I'll die. And I'm not taking that risk. So I threw it out, but I got so tired. Like I needed that to stay awake playing that one pocket. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't, I thought I was going to die if I took it. So I threw it out, and lo and behold, it came back and beat me in the match. But I didn't die.
Yeah.
But I lost 20 kilos. But that was the last time I ever used. I threw that
4.5 years ago.
Yeah, June 3rd, 2021.
I was there for that whole
I
match.
threw that little pill out, and that was the last time I ever touched the substance. By the grace of God.
I think it was.
I went back to Vegas with like 10,000 cash. I blew that because I just had 70. So what's 10?
You're on.
I just ripped through that. So now I'm broke again. I go back to meetings. This guy sees me at a meeting, who's my friend there, and he sees that I relapse. He's been sober like 30 something years. Crazy guy. And but he took a liking to me. But he didn't treat me right at that meeting because of my relapse. He was real hard on me about that. We got in a little argument, and he comes running after me in the parking lot, and he grabs me. I shake him off, and I punched him in the mouth. This is the first time I've hit somebody like since high school, right? That was the worst 2 weeks of my life. I lost my sobriety, lost 70,000, fought someone at an AA meeting in the parking lot.
That you
Yeah. And then anyway, it was just a nightmare. But that's what happens when I pick up.
That's what happens when anybody picks
I
up.
destroy everything around me.
Yeah.
In 4 days.
And like I said, I mean, I struggle with addiction a little bit, but I know a lot of family members and everybody I've talked to. I went to Al-Anon for my parents when they struggled through it. And when you start, you go right back to where you left off. It's not like you started to have 1 or 2 drinks. You start you're right back to where you were right away. It's crazy.
Well, that's how most people get killed.
Yeah.
Especially heavier drug users that use pills, fentanyl, or something like that. What happens is you're addicted, your body's immune to a certain amount. Then they go, this is the problem with detox or sober living. And I can promise you this is why the system's a little bit messed up in the States and so many people die. But if you go to a sober living or a complete detox place without help, and then you get clean and you come back out, the statistic is something like 90% relapse.
Yeah.
The statistic of those dying is like 5% because their body is now not used to this drug, and they go back and use as much as they used when they were at their peak. And this is the problem. I have a world-renowned doctor. I've helped a lot of people, and I understand it. It's frustrating because I can't help everybody, but I try and I want to because I understand it. But anyway.
But it's amazing, like how between now and then, like I had to rebuild my life from scratch, and I went into debt, big money. I ruined, a relationship with a girl that I loved out in Texas, and I ruined everything around me, right? And for the first year or 2 of sobriety, it was hell trying to rebuild all that. Like it was lonely, it was depressing, it was everything. Like I'm trying to compete at the same time, and I'm struggling with sponsorship, I'm struggling with money, but I just said, no matter what, I'm not picking up, and I'm just going to ride this out. Like this is the price I got to pay, and things will get better if I keep doing the next right thing. And I kept going to meetings. I started going there for me, not for pool. I started helping other guys get sober. And that's what I love about meetings is it keeps me grounded. Like pool's been my whole world. Now I walk into a meeting, I'm just another recovering alcoholic or addict. I'm not John Morra, the pool player, and everyone's kissing my ass. Like I go in there and I'm as sick as everyone else. And I love that. I love that because I need to stay grounded. It keeps me level-headed. And it's a different world.
Yeah.
It's just a different world. And I need that. Like I never had a different world.
Right.
Good for you.
And it's just a beautiful place. I have real friends in there.
Of course, sponsors, sponsees, both of them, right?
Yeah, man. That's
cool.
Sponsees.
Sponsees, and they're just great. They want to see me succeed. They want to.
Nice.
We love each other. We're like family.
Well, what else do you like to do? Like for me, my recovery was always the outdoors.
Yeah.
Even by myself, I have friends. But is there anything else you like to do?
I like to work out. besides
Yeah,
playing pool.
He's in shape.
Look
Yeah,
at him. Look
I
at him. He looks
run,
great, man. His hair got good color,
Yeah.
good build. You look great, man.
out in the sun here this past week. I didn't realize how miserable I was in Canada.
We got 2 feet
December,
here. I got 2
January.
feet last night. Terrible.
I got off the plane in
2
Texas a
feet of
couple weeks
snow.
ago, and I was so happy instantly. But yeah, to be honest, like playing left-handed, playing right-handed, I didn't really do much else but play pool. But now playing lefty, I really don't have time to do anything else. I got to be practicing all the time. When I'm not practicing or competing, I got to be recovering. I got to be doing like a cold plunge or sauna, or taking care of my massage, acupuncture, like. And so when I'm not doing that, I'm in meetings. Like my recovery is the most important thing. Like,
Absolutely.
those meetings are the most important thing. I realize they're more important than pool. They're more
100%.
more important than anything, relationship. Like I have nothing if I don't have recovery, So I'm in recovery. I'm playing pool. I'm practicing, and I'm managing my pain.
That's good.
Without
That's good.
abusing substance.
All right, let's talk about.
I'm feeling tightrope.
Let's talk about John Morra, the meme, when you played Jesus Atencio in the Florida Open. When you were excited, you were the meme of pool. That was a great match, by the way, down 5-0, and you come back, and then your face was
Up 5-0. Up 5-0. Down 9-5.
Down that now 5. That's what I meant. Sorry. And then you were that face you made. Let's talk about that match a little bit, because that was a great match. I don't know if Scott commented on that one or commented on that one, but
Yeah.
Did I commentate?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. But
I was watching
Yeah.
it right there. That's when the guy tried to shark it.
Right.
down 5-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, up 9-5.
That got me so fired up. It was, but another big part of that was I finally made it past the final 16.
Oh, can I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know him so well, and a lot of players talk to Jeremy. A lot of players vent to me. They vent to us, and we want to understand them more. And one thing that he struggled with his whole career, especially the switch to the left-handed, is the shot clock, right? And he's told me, am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
Over and over, right? You can play all these big tournaments, okay? But if you don't get TV table time, if you don't get that time, that 30-second shot clock, especially when you go through a process like his, can
It's a little different. Your whole game's different, right?
Well, up until the Florida Open, I probably finished top 16 in Matchroom Open events 10 times, maybe 8 or 9, but I was making it there quite consistently, and I always lost on the final 16 when the shot clock came in, and I was so pissed off. I'm like, I just can't get past that. It's the shot clock, right? Or the pressure of almost being at the end of the tournament. I don't know, combination of everything, and the players are better by the final 16. You're playing against the guys that win. And I made it through. I beat Jesus, and I got to the final 8, and I was up 5-0. I made one error, and he started coming back, and I'm like, I'm gonna pay for this. Like he's playing. He's gonna put it on me now. I just could feel it.
Yeah.
And he was making all kinds of crazy jump shots. The whole crowd's behind him. He wins 9 racks in a row, and then he missed the 4 ball to beat me. I said, well, I still didn't feel like I was going to win. I'm like, just run out, and it's 9-6 and see what happens. 9-6, I think I broke and ran. 9-7, then I broke and made the 9, 9-8. And he started feeling pressure, and I started feeling confidence. And at 9-9, when we had that crazy Hill game, he finally, before that though, I want to say, like, I never felt so uncomfortable physically losing 9 racks in a row. Like the whole crowd's loud cheering him on, and I'm just in my chair, and I was just breaking down. My body was like, did not like it. I was just, I felt so helpless.
Very tough.
I was like shaking, and then we get to Hill, and I was shaking during that run out, and
best feeling ever, though,
yeah,
right?
I was so zoned in, like I wasn't gonna get sharked there, but the guy tried to shark me, and it was nice to look back.
What did you tell him?
I said, nice try, nice try. I didn't know who it was, but it was someone. I looked at the whole crowd and whatever.
Yeah, you blamed them all.
Yeah, and Ryan Bell was like the one guy cheering for me in the crowd.
Love Ryan.
Yeah, love Ryan.
Talk to him today.
And so I win, and I do the big fist pump, and I gave him a big hug, and I think he shed a tear. He was so happy.
Yeah, I think we all
It,
do.
it was awesome. It was a good moment, you know. I felt like
Yeah, you felt
no,
good.
I felt like that was like almost me winning the tournament. I finally got past the final 16, and I think now when I had to play Shane, I was like, oh, I'm good. Like I just went through that. I got nothing left in me, and he beat me easy. You know,
It's draining. Do you have a practice table that you play on?
I
Or
don't
you're
have a
moving
table
so
anymore.
much, right? You're moving so
Yeah,
much.
I'm moving so much.
I talked when him and I talked about this. I was hoping he said he took my advice, but he didn't. But he listened. He does listen to me, but he didn't take my advice. My advice is this for anybody that doesn't play with a shot clock, and if you have the ability to have a table at your house, or you're lucky enough, and you're taking it seriously, is get a damn shot clock and work with it and train with it. And if you can get a shot clock and train with it, and I think that that's important. I told him he can even just time himself with his watch or whatever he's doing and just get used to the time, because these guys, when I say these guys that are used to playing on those tables so much, and I'll just use Federer Gorse. Listen, Federer doesn't need a shot clock. He knows that 30 seconds right here, like the back of his hand, right? And that's what I talked to him about. When it's down to that 10-second mark, he knows exactly where he's at position wise, in his stance, in his footwork, everything, right? And it's just because he's done it so much. So since he's not been in that position, or guys that haven't been in that position, in order to prepare, you should really work on finding something that can count that 30 seconds, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely something I need to do.
But he's
haven't
traveling
done
so much, and you know, I'm not saying giving him a hard time. He travels so style, it's almost impossible for him. But he could take something with him. I fly with my pillow and a fan. He can fly.
Yeah,
with a
but
shot
you always
clock.
need someone to do it, or you need a clock
What
like they had.
there's got to be something.
You know?
Maybe we should invent something, because I'm coming out with something else. But maybe we should invent something like that you can put on your wrist that shocks you every time the 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I have a timer on this Apple.
That's what I was kind of getting at. Yeah. Anyway,
I feel like I have a pretty good feel for the shot clock right now. Played in a lot of tournaments.
Yeah, well, a lot's changed since we had that conversation.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that conversation we had was almost maybe
a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like Scott said earlier, and I said the same thing. I see it in your game. I think this is your year. I mean, you got to get used to that shot clock, because I think 2026 you're going to be on the door of a couple of big events, and you got to make sure you're down with that shot clock and ready to rock and roll. What are your aspirations for this year? What are your goals? We already talked about how you feel playing wise. What are your goals for this year?
I'd like to win a big tournament. I'd like to win any big tournament, you know, U.S. Open, World 9-ball, whatever. I don't know where I'm going to play, UK Open and European Open. Just one big one would be nice. More than one would be nice. But I want to enjoy the game, not just that, like, because I put too much importance my whole career on winning. Like, I want to just more you can't always play your best. I want to enjoy the game and do the best I can do, and just be easier on myself. I'm really hard on myself.
But do you think that that's possible for you to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
How did you handle it this week? It seemed to me like you handled it really well.
I blew a lot of big leads.
No, but I'm saying, how did you
mentally,
handle it mentally afterwards?
inside, I was not feeling good. I tried to, put on an act. Like,
So this is something that you're constantly working on,
Yeah.
like any other player, right?
Yeah.
Dude, you're just like, I mean, you're no different than any other champion out there, as far as that's concerned, right?
Right.
It's just like the work you do with your alcohol or your
Recovery.
step program.
Yeah.
It's going to, I think that for us, or for anybody that's competing at that level, that's going to be a constant battle.
Yeah. You're never going to be where you always want to be,
Never.
Like, you're going to reach your best, and then you're going to plateau. Then you got to work your way back up. And it's just, sometimes it's your turn, and sometimes it's the other player's turn, right? Like, we can't win them all, right? And I'm happy to just be able to compete with these guys and win sometimes lefty, and I'm actually able to win tournaments, and trust me, I still in the back of my mind, like, it's tough. It's very tough. And I don't think people know how hard it actually is. Like, they can imagine it, but it's probably way harder than you think.
What part of it is?
I don't have the power or the coordination, so I lack the confidence sometimes, and I can miss shots that a lot of other pros aren't missing. Like it's easier for me to miss, especially on the smaller 4-inch pockets under the pressure. You know,
Absolutely.
when I'm feeling my best, you know, I can beat anyone and I can win. But it's hard for me to get to that with my mental and everything. Like it all has to come together, and it's possible.
But
You
I'll
know?
tell you what, dude, you don't show it. Your mental strength on the table is very impressive. You don't lose your cool. You don't show it. And I know that you're hard on yourself, like most great players. You're very good at the table. Looking at you from a distance, dude, you're one of the best that I've seen. I'm being serious.
Thank you.
I agree.
I'm being
See what's
serious.
Mr.
my head.
Smooth
But-
all the time.
You think that Federer isn't a mess in the head? And these guys
Yeah.
all go, I know because I talk to them.
It's a very.
And I know the people that operate them. I know I'm not using Federer. They all deal with this.
Yeah, all the pros. Yeah,
All of them.
it's grueling, mentally grueling. I mean, you're out there. Pool's one of the toughest sports there is. You're out there with your own thoughts. It's all on you. You know, you can't rely on anyone, and most of us don't have coaches. Maybe that's something I should look into, a mental coach or whatever. I've never had that, but at this point, like I'll use anything. Anything that can help me be better. I'm open to.
What are the
And that's what.
one of the biggest things I've learned from the podcast? I know Scott and I, we talked to Gap and David Alcady. You know, a lot of those players. Yeah, a lot of those players. You know, they say they at least to us, they haven't opened up that they have that when they lose. They say as long as they gave it their best every single time, that's the main thing. Because Scott and I always talk about it too. You could have your best game and you're not going to win. It's just the way 9-ball is. You could be playing your best game career-wise, you're not going to win. Other days you don't feel like you don't have it, and you're still going to win, right? So a lot of the players, Scott, right here, I think they say as long as they give it their best, they're never going to have that. Well, they're still going to have it, but they're not going to beat themselves up as much because 9-ball, you played your best and you haven't won matches, right? That happens.
Yeah, they do still beat themselves up though.
Of
I mean,
course,
they do,
I'm not
but
saying
that's-
that. Yes.
What he's saying is the best way to look at it, which I do agree, is all you can do is do the best you can, right?
Right.
And that's really how you got to go into it. But I think the only thing that's a little different for him is that he still struggles deep down with being right-handed and then coming over to here and not having that anymore. I think that's probably something that,
Yeah, just some days I'm gonna feel helpless.
you know,
Some days I feel like I can't compete, and then other days I'm right where I need to
But
be.
do you ever win when you feel like you can't compete? Do you ever
What's
win
that?
when you feel like you can't compete? Sometimes you still play good enough to win.
Rarely, but when my bad game is there with my left hand, it's hard. Like I really don't win against these guys because it needs to be my bad game with my left hand can be pretty bad.
well, I mean, you look at all the elite
Yeah.
players and they're not winning against these guys. So
Yeah.
he's beating these guys. It's just so tough to win nowadays. It's ridiculous, but I can promise you that there's nobody out there that's looking to draw John Morra in a tournament match. I know this for a fact. So,
Well, I'll take that.
Great. I
It's true.
agree. And like I said, like Scott said too, Mr. Smooth, you don't look like you're showing at all when you feel like you don't feel like you're feeling it. When you're walking around the table, you look fantastic. You seem like you're playing good. And I don't remember seeing him. I've been watching, like, you're not dogging it. You're not giving it away. You may lose by a rack or two here and there, but also you beat, Jesus in that Hill match. So it goes both ways.
Right.
What was your best win? Was it that match, top 16?
Best, my best win was the Derby Banks.
Yep.
Beating Shane.
Okay.
When that was my first major
Yeah.
win. I was 22 at the time, and I was just grinding for so many years trying to win a major event. I was beating all these
Yep.
guys, but couldn't win. And I finally broke through and won that. That was my most memorable win. And then maybe the Super Billiards Expo, and then Turning Stone.
Cool.
he's a world-class bank pool player too, by the way. Like he plays all the
Everything.
games.
One pocket, right?
And yes. He
I
plays.
love all the games. I love banks in one pocket. I wish we could play more one pocket because it's also the game where I don't need power. I can tic tac.
You can move a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah,
Tick
right.
them
for
around.
sure.
With my left.
Nip and tuck.
Nip and tuck. That's what I was
That's
looking
my
for.
move. Nip and tuck.
Yeah, like I don't need the power in that game, so I'm in less pain when I play one pocket because I'm just bunting balls around, you know.
But it's also a great game.
Oh, it's an excellent game.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just it's so
in depth.
cool.
There's
It's
so much
cool.
to it, right?
Yeah, like there's so many different facets to the game. Like snooker, there's a lot of different
Yeah,
facets.
they're very similar.
There's moving. There's all kinds. There's the near the black, near the pink, the colors, putting the colors on the rail when you're ahead in points, like putting the balls up table in one pocket. 9-ball is so one-dimensional. It's a great game, but you don't have to really think if you're a pro. You know?
Just count. If you can count, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
At least tonight.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, John, that's it. We're going to say thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate you joining the show.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
And we're looking forward to seeing you, what's going to bring 2026 for you.
Thanks,
All right.
bro.
All right, Johnny.
Before we go, a big thank you to our sponsors who make this show possible: Jay Flowers, Classic Billiards, Tommy's Tattoo Supply, Nick Marino Billiards, Metro Sports Bar, Anytime Billiards, Control the Rock, Agape Sober Homes, Wayne Harriman, Andy Gow, In the Box, PNW Pool Thing, and Hilltop Promotions.